Yes, the press conference and rally in support of LD 1028, an act to enhance municipal home rule status.
Good afternoon, my name is Bob Walter. I am the co-chair of Save Our Water. I would like to thank our legislators and concerned citizens who are here today in support of LD 1028.
This is a bill that affirms what our Constitution says, that the power resides in the people. People with God-given unalienable rights. Corporations are creatures of the state legislature. We have the power to change the role that corporations play in our society, and we're here to do that today. We're here to affirm our rights as Americans over those of artificial, fictitious persons, corporations.
It's the young people that we're here for, because if they don't get involved in what our government is doing and know that they have the right in their community to make a difference, that's what we need to teach. And we have no place for young people to turn. They have to make the decisions for themselves. And we have to help teach them that there is a way to do it and do it better. That's what this law is all about.
The reason it is so important for all of us to stand up for our own communities and our human resources and our natural resources is that they're all being taken away from us now. And we have to stand up as citizens of our communities and be of service to communities.
Let us review for a moment a few phrases from the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal, not corporations, all men. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, not to be confused with any legal right of personhood enacted by men for the benefit of corporations, 94 years after the Declaration of Independence. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, not teams of corporate attorneys, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Thomas Paine, in writing Common Sense in January of 1775, stated, "Government's sole purpose is to protect life, liberty, and property, and that a government should be judged solely on the basis of the extent to which it accomplishes this goal. Every person hearing my voice and beyond has a body comprised of more than 60% water. And every one of us must have water within 7 days or perish. What other word, what other subject is more important to the protection of life? We are here today not to judge our government, but to plead the fact that new legislation is now necessary to protect the governed." When men assembled 140 years ago to imbue corporations with the right of personhood, they had no idea that the future would involve multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporate giants, nor could they conceive the existence of the diesel engine, tanker trucks, driving devices able to extract water from hundreds of feet below the Earth's surface, plastic bottles, or an impending worldwide water shortage. They were not fortune tellers 140 years ago. But today we have enough foreknowledge to know that the contemplation of binding 50-year contracts with any major water party is both unwise and absurd. It required enormous courage for our founding fathers to enact 34 years ago our independence from the king and his huge resource of men, ships, and arms. Today we citizens of Maine are embattled in a new conflict with a new king, King Water, King Nestle. Our groundswell of support that grows daily is in need of our legislature to become fully involved and do its duty. We need new legislation now. LD 1028 will enable us, through home rule status, to protect ourselves from this new king. Thank you.
Yes, I am the chair of POWER. We're located in Shapley, Newfield, Maine, and we were the first two communities to pass this rights-based ordinance. One of the reasons why we did this was because the regulatory approach was not working for the people of Shapley and Newfield, not have a say whether we wanted this corporation in or out of our community. And we were quite miffed at that, because we really thought if we did work with the regulatory process that we would be heard, and maybe we could control this large company into our neighborhood. Well, we all know Freiburg, don't we? That didn't work. So basically what we did was we enacted the rights-based ordinance to give the people the right to say yes or no in the community. The taxpayers, the people that live in the community, care about the community, and pay for that community. So we do support LD 1028 as far as the home rule and having local control. Local control always, as Tip O'Neill says, government starts at the local level. And if we don't do this at the local level, look what's happening right now at the federal level with all these corporate bailouts. So we need to go community to educate each community on this issue, not only whether it's water, whatever issue your community has at issue. And if we don't, then we will be sorry, and we will end up like a Freiburg. Because if you let Nestle into any of your communities under the regulatory approach, they will want more and more and more, and we will not, as people, be on a level playing field. Thank you.
One issue I want you to just keep hanging on to is the possibility that local control through these contracts is going to pass to international tribunals. I'm very convinced after a lot of research that's happening. And so that local control, state control, federal control may be in the hands of multinational tribunals as we speak, particularly under the rules of NAFTA. So don't let go of that issue. Hang on to it in all the debates we have, community by community, over who's in control of our water resources. Water is not lobster, it's not trees, it's not corn. It is an essential natural resource, and keep pushing that. We don't trade our water on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. We control it, and that's the way it ought to be. Thank you.
I bring you greetings from Veterans for Peace, who is very aware that with the coming reality of climate change, we're going to see more and more conflict globally over water. Water wars, if you will, and in a way, the water wars are already starting right here in the state of Maine when it comes to who's going to have control over the allocation of water. You know, the conservatives have always said in this country that the best government is that which is most local, which the people have most access to. And I think there's a lot of truth in that statement. We've got to allow the people to have control over the water in their community and in their state. And we're proud to be with you as Veterans for Peace in this effort. Thank you.
Oscar Oliveira has said, behind the fight for water is the struggle for democracy. Yes. And I think that that's a very true statement. And I think that the water wars that have been happening here in the state of Maine are a true example of that, that water has been able to bring people from across partisan differences to sit at the same table and to talk across differences in order to find a common solution. And that common solution is local control over our natural resources. That multinational corporations should not be able to trump our unalienable civil rights by using their corporate personhood rights